Welcome to This Just In, the show bringing you the latest advancements in healthcare, strategy, innovation, and public policy. And now, for the fastest voice in healthcare, here's your host, Justin Barnes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the special edition of This Just In Radio. I'm your host, Justin Barnes. Today, we're broadcasting live from HIMSS25 in sunny Las Vegas. Very excited to be here. It's already been an action-packed 72 hours. The HIMSS annual conference is always the centerpiece of my annual schedule, and this happens to be my 25th HIMSS annual conference and my 11th year broadcasting from the annual conference. Even in 2020, the COVID year, we still had the broadcast and all of the same amazing guests. We just hosted this broadcast remotely and all of my guests dialed in. Many of the same leaders you're going to hear today and over the next couple of days, like Hal Wolf, Rasu Shrestha, Anish Chopra, and many more familiar names. I feel very fortunate to be able to broadcast annually from HIMSS. Hal Wolf, Albie Zakes, Morgan Searles, and the entire HIMSS team have been extremely supportive, and I'm extremely and tremendously grateful. Also, I can make a special note of thanks to Roberta Mullen, Greg Masters, Carol Flagg, and the entire Healthcare Now radio team for their tremendous support and managing the demands of my HIMSS broadcasts annually and the recordings. Also, I'm eternally grateful to all of my hundreds of guests throughout the years, and certainly to all of my loyal listeners. We owe all of this show's success to you, and we still are so honored to have won the Sway Health 2024 Healthcare Podcast of the Year award that never gets old, but rather challenges us to get better every day with every broadcast and every conference. Which leads us to today. This is the start of 3 days, 5 shows, and over 40 guests here in Las Vegas for HIMSS25. We have our best lineup yet of CEOs, CIOs, CTOs, care providers, researchers, policy leaders, and visionaries joining the show. As many of you know, my goal for broadcasting live each year from these key conferences is to create an information medium that shares best practices, key strategies, and actionable intelligence from the industry's leading sources and experts. My objective, along with all my guests here, will be to offer tactics and strategies to not only survive, but to thrive as you navigate your hospital, your physician practice, your company, or even your family through all these changes occurring across healthcare today. There is more opportunity than ever before for all of us to thrive, but we must understand how healthcare is evolving, how policy and reimbursement is shifting, and where best practices and innovation can support our efforts. I hope you glean all of this over the next few days. That's at least my goal. Welcome back to This Just In Radio Show, broadcasting live from HIMSS25 in the AMD booth in sunny Las Vegas. I'm very excited to introduce my next guest, longtime friend, even a longtime friend of the show as well, Anna Nieto, Chief Technologist with Lenovo. Welcome to the show, and welcome back to the show, my good friend.
Thank you, Justin. Glad to be here.
It's awesome to see you again. So before we dive into the questions, when did you get in town?
Got in town Monday night, having a great time staying here at the Venetian. Gotta love Vegas.
Yeah, I love it and always have a great time here. What are your goals for being here?
I really want to learn more about what is going on with care delivery. I'm looking at how do we extend care? How do we get those care extenders, the LPNs, the CRNs, those different providers, different resources? Because at the end of the day, we have to lower the technical burden on the clinicians, we have to raise the customer experience, and we have to start leveraging technology to improve the care equity, the delivery of care to those that don't have access to it. So there's technology solutions to do that.
Yep, excellent. I love it. I totally agree. What are your goals for being here?
My biggest goal right now is to really figure out that two-letter word, right? Those 2 letters that we're talking about.
Yeah.
How do we make that? I'm going to say them AI. How do we make it tangible? How do we make it useful? We've talked about AI for a long time.
Yep.
But how do we actually make it useful? How do we re-engineer protocols? How do we re-engineer care delivery so we can leverage the technology to do more? So that's my big goal, is to find those that are doing it, connect them together, and deliver on that.
Yep, I love it. That's a great goal. So what progress are you most excited about seeing in the industry today?
I think the biggest progress that I love seeing today is, as our partners are starting to, we've kind of gone over the interoperability hump, and we've kind of gotten over this silos of data between systems. So now how do we empower the patient? How do we empower wellness? And how do we go to the next generation of care delivery? And how does technology play a role in that?
Yep, fantastic. What what trends are you seeing out there that we need to be aware of or be, navigate successfully?
So the first trend I'm seeing is this rise in what I would call the care extenders, the LPNs, the RNs.
Absolutely.
And during COVID, we saw a lot of them starting to do care delivery in a way and without observation or without being followed and supervised by a clinician, just because we had the demand, we had the need.
Yep.
And so I think that trend is going to force us to reevaluate delivery protocols, look for technology solutions for supervision so that we ensure patient care isn't falling behind and we're not missing things. But I think it's going to empower a new generation of providers by giving them opportunities to enter without going through 4 years of med school or things like that. So I think that's a really cool trend.
Yep.
The other trend that I'm seeing is an openness to new technology in ways that we weren't necessarily in the industry willing to do before, right? We had this, getting into the EHR was that,
Right.
We had that 5 years of, I'm on paper, I don't want to do an EHR. And we kind of got through that, but we were still really resistant to embracing technology. And I think the trend of clinicians coming and saying, okay, what else can technology do for me is a really, really cool trend.
Yep. So how do people navigate that? So what are a few of your ideas to navigate those trends?
My first idea is we have to work within our systems to re-engineer care delivery protocols, re-engineer the interfaces. So if I'm in an organization and from check-in to patient transport to surgery or whatever,
Yep.
has always been these 6 people involved and these 6 systems involved. We have to be willing to look at those and say, how do we re-engineer this and make it more efficient, simpler, streamlined, and recognize the patient's experience, the provider's care technology burden,
Yep.
and improve that. And so I think that's the first thing we have to do. The second thing we have to do is we're now to the point where everyone's got an EHR, everyone's got an interoperability platform, everyone's got these tools.
Right.
We now have to, as an industry, start going back to our clinicians and asking, what did we miss in generation 1 of the EHR? What did we miss as we deployed our Epic system, as we brought in Cerner, as we're replacing our Allscripts system? What was missing, and how do we feed back to them and say, you did this really well.
Yep.
This needs work, and this is how we think it ought to be. And we need to reassert some authority and control back on our software development partners.
Yep. Love it. What is some of the, so tell me what you guys are working on. I've known Lenovo for a long time. Love you guys. What are some of the things that you're working on in part of your product development, your strategy in 2025 and 2026 that you're excited about?
The first thing I'm really excited about is our workstation platform has really evolved. We've gotten to a platform that is interoperable with all of the major PACS and radiologic systems. We're starting to see a lot of engagement in those areas. The second area that I'm really excited about is we're seeing more willingness within the industry to align with and partner with the software developers, the ISVs, those that are producing the solutions, and put them together and empower those solutions. And the third thing that I'm really proud of is that even before COVID, we had in our ThinkPad and our ThinkStation and ThinkCenter lines, we had the ability to clean, disinfect, and recognize patient safety as a cornerstone of what we're doing.
Yep.
So all of those together are really key to healthcare. And then, of course, our innovations in AI enablement, whether it's the AI PC at the endpoint or the infrastructure deployment we have in looking at how do we power the hospital of the future, has been a really exciting journey.
Yep. I love it. I know, and for full transparency, I'm a very loyal Lenovo user. I have been for like 11 or 12 years now. I love your PCs, and I work the heck out of them, and they're stable, and they keep cranking, so.
Love it.
Love it. Thank you for that. And thinking beyond today, what's a key strategy or trend that we need to be ready to navigate in 2 or 3 years from now?
So 2 or 3 years from now, I think that we're going to be asking 2 questions. The first question is, what did we generate and what did we waste money on from an AI perspective? Artificial intelligence is, I mean, let's face it, anybody who flew in and wore a pair of noise-canceling headphones has had AI on their head, and that technology has been around for generations. Right. Anybody who's auto-completed a sentence while typing on their phone or their email has been using AI for a long time. But generative AI is a really, really cool thing. But what we're rushing so headlong towards it, what are we going to, we have to come back and say, okay, but did it solve a problem? Or did it create new work? And I think that's question number one. Question number two is going to be, we gave patients a lot of power during COVID. We said, okay, we're going to empower you to manage your own care. We're going to drive you towards retail care. We're going to drive you into the clinics and out of the system. I think 3 years from now, we're going to have to say, okay, how do we engage patients when they're people? Remember, we're only patients about 0.5% of our life. Right. The rest of the time, we're people. So we're going to start seeing an expectation of the person that my care is in my home, it's in my car, it's at work. It's not just when I call my doctor or when I go to the clinic.
Yeah, and we brought this up a couple times on air now, is we're going to have a digital twin also, from a standpoint of they're going to have the exact replica of us in an AI type of form, and actually could be a human type form, and it's going to know our care. It's going to have access to all of our medications and everything, and even our genome was sequenced and everything like that. So we'll actually know the best care patterns, the best care paths for us. We're not going to be guinea pigs as much now moving forward. So I'm extremely excited about having a digital twin. Have you thought about that and think? Yeah,
absolutely. So when I think about digital twin, the one thing that I start worrying about is how do we maintain autonomy and privacy with our digital twin, and how do we share our digital twin between the systems, right? Is the digital twin an artifact of this healthcare system or this healthcare system, or does the digital twin become my digital twin that I grant access to, and who's going to own that information?
Great point.
And will that get leveraged for nefarious reasons like raising my rates, right, or denying my care? So that's a concern, but on the flip side, I would love it if all of the providers that I work with or I go to see could say, I see you're on this medicine, this medicine, this medicine. Hey, what if you went to this one and it took care of the major issues these three are doing, and we could actually see an efficiency of care?
Yeah, much smarter care for sure in that regard. But I agree with absolutely on the privacy and security of our digital twin or of our healthcare moving forward for sure.
Absolutely.
Andy Nieto, thank you so much for joining me on air. Appreciate you, man.
It's a privilege.
Always.
Thanks so much, Justin.
Thank you, my friend. Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Just In. We're broadcasting live from HIMSS25 from the AMD booth in sunny Las Vegas. Very excited to be here. It's already been an action-packed 72 hours since we landed. This is our second broadcast, over 3 days, 5 total shows, and over 40 guests here in Las Vegas from HIMSS25. This is personally my 25th HIMSS annual conference and 11th year broadcasting my radio show from the HIMSS annual conference. But without further ado, I'm very excited to introduce my first guest and good friend from Peoria, Illinois, Joe Morrow, Director of Technology Services at OSF Healthcare. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
It's been a good conference. When did you get in town?
We got in yesterday.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah. And what do you plan to do for the next couple of days? Just speaking and learning and...
I'm doing the learning part.
Yeah.
I'll be done with the speaking after we're done here.
Okay. Awesome. I agree. I love it. So what progress are you most excited about seeing in the industry today?
In the industry, I'm really excited about the consolidation efforts that we've got going on.
Yep.
Right? It's always a struggle for data center providers like we are.
Yep.
It's always a struggle. Everything's moving to the cloud.
Right.
But internally, we've got a lot of flexibility with what we manage in the data center. That we do a hybrid type version where we do workloads in the cloud where they're needed, but I'm super excited at some of the new technology we've got out now that lets us do more in less space for less cost. It's fantastic.
Excellent. Yeah, we did that. We did a case study with you guys, kind of partnered with Dell, AMD, and OSF, created a case study, and you had some phenomenal results. Why don't we take a second just to go through some of those highlights? You spoke right before we came on air about your results and some of your ROI, but we hit on that high note.
Absolutely. So in addition to our performance gains, we went live with Epic Bergamo chip for our Epic environment. we're a fairly sizable installation, right? Where we turn, actually just currently we're about 31 million GREFs.
Yep.
And if you're familiar,
Yes.
That's a sizable install.
It is.
But as we converted from IBM to the AMD platform, we were able to consolidate 3 racks of equipment into 3 2U servers. Fantastic. So we reduced our power, our heat and cooling, and everything's running spectacular. From a budgetary standpoint, just in the conversion, our capital cost alone was about half of what we'd forecasted if we stayed on the IBM platform.
Right.
And our maintenance cost, we were able to save, we cut about $700,000 out of our maintenance on a yearly basis, and this is locked in. We expect this platform to run for 5 years.
Yeah, no, extremely exciting. So what healthcare, kind of putting your thought leader hat on,
Sure.
what healthcare or trends are you seeing in the industry today?
So for us, it's really a shared services model that's really attractive to us. We've been doing this now I'm with OSF Healthcare, but we started a company, Point Core. Point Core was really built on the original idea of shared services because we know not every healthcare system is as robust as what we have in our staff.
Absolutely.
We work with a lot of smaller hospitals that just don't have access to the same resources we have.
Yep.
We're blessed in that aspect that we've got good talent. We're rapidly growing, so we're able to sustain where we're going. But smaller rural hospitals are challenged. A good example of that is when we started, we envisioned a model of bringing other like-minded healthcare systems together and merging our overhead departments, right? Like IT was a good example. And didn't really get a lot of traction on that other than our networking side. We partnered with a company out of Iowa, Fiber Utilities Group, and we're running our own carrier-grade fiber optic network. We've got about 1,500 miles of fiber, and what that's allowed us to do is come in and offer services to rural hospitals where we can get them connected in a safe environment. As you go in, we do work in acquisitions and other consulting, but you see some of these hospitals really don't have access. They'll have access to IT people. A geek squad doesn't know what to do in a healthcare environment, right? They probably can't spell HIPAA. But what this has allowed us to do is we can come in, provide a service to a healthcare organization, take that burden of maintaining IT, especially in our cybersecurity threat area.
Absolutely.
And allow them to do healthcare, and we can take care of the rest. We've expanded that now from IT to supply chain services, to facilities, and we even do construction. So we're building our own hospitals, we're building hospitals for other people. It's an exciting time to be a part of what we're doing.
Yeah, and you kind of answered my next question on, what are some best practices that you would share, how to help people navigate those trends. And so you guys obviously created Point Core, offering those shared services out. We actually had another show this morning, and had AWS on and talking about what they're doing in a lot of rural communities, because we can't, those systems, if they're not redundant, if they're not managed in the type of environment that you're talking about, that might be the only care that they have in that community. They may be 100 miles without a care center. That is the only one. So those systems can't go down. They need to have the right strategy.
Absolutely.
So I think that's exactly what you bring without even realizing all that. But so expand upon that. So talk about your strategy from Point Core and some other trends that or best practices to navigate those trends.
Sure, okay, so as we look, IT itself, healthcare IT is different than the rest of IT, right?
Yeah.
Anytime we interview somebody that comes in for a position, they work at an engineering company, whatever you do. Caterpillar is large in Peoria, as you know.
Yep.
And everybody thinks mission critical at Caterpillar is when the line stops. Well, you know what? You just don't build a tractor that day, right?
Right.
In healthcare,
every
minute of every day, we've got a patient under our care.
Right.
We service over 1 million patients just in our service area alone. And downtime can't happen. So everything we do is based upon layers of redundancy, not only in our technical areas, but in our processes. So when we can come in and do the same IT as somebody else, but help to educate on the processes and everything that goes around it to ensure you can deliver critical care when it's needed, yeah, that's really the value and where I see focus needs to be placed.
Absolutely. Exciting. Again, more putting the thought leader hat on here. What do you see as a key strategy or trend that we need to be ready to navigate in 2 to 3 years from now?
2 or 3 years. You know, the challenge is going to be AI, right?
Yep.
You can't swing a cat in here without hitting
Yep.
an AI booth, right?
Swing a cat. That's a great analogy. I like that. Let's keep going down. That's good. Yeah, you're right.
But
actually.
so, and it's using it responsibly.
Mm-hmm.
AI's got its place, and there's some super exciting areas out there now. We're in a partnership now with Epic to build out DAX, the ambient ordering portion.
Excellent.
And that, if you've been to a clinician recently, you pretty much know the side of their head because they're sitting on a computer typing into their screens, right?
Yep.
They want to make sure that they've got your medical record complete.
Mm-hmm.
When you can introduce AI in an interesting way, so a doctor can have a conversation with you, and all of the information is captured, it's a transformative in healthcare, right? Being able to mine the data out of that conversation, and then what we're trying to do with Epic is to take that to the next level and be able to introduce ordering and really move that needle on providing care without having to do all the manual pieces.
Excellent.
Spectacular.
Excellent. So what do you hope to accomplish over the next couple of days here at HIMSS25?
It's a perfect opportunity for us. You know, we're located in Peoria.
Yep.
There aren't that many technology companies around, right?
Yep.
We're all connected, but this is a good chance to get face-to-face.
Yep.
Learn more from different emerging technologies and really kind of solidify our relationships. I didn't mention it before, but a key portion, we invest a lot in our strategies. And when we take partnerships very seriously. The biggest challenge we have now is venture capitalist is a really evil word, right?
Right. No.
But where it hits us is we're making an investment in a technology and a process, and that it takes a long time to move the ship in a certain direction.
Right.
And when the landscape changes, because we've invested in perpetual licensing and we're doing maintenance, and it's switched to a subscription model with additional services that we don't need, reimbursables in healthcare are very tight. There are organizations that have for-profit, they do surgeries all the time, and that's a gravy train, right?
Right.
But for those of us at our critical care facilities that don't have, that service general populations,
You got it.
we are a Catholic not-for-profit, so we are a destination center. Every penny counts, and putting more money into a software company's bottom line doesn't necessarily relate to the best care for our patients. So we're really reevaluating our strategies to make sure that we're removing the potential areas where we can get left behind.
Yep.
Right? You see it in the headlines. Every company's getting bought. They're turning up to subscriptions, and there just isn't more money to come from healthcare.
Right.
Yeah.
So spend 1 second. We've got a minute or so left.
Sure.
Talk about, you have a nun that sits on your board, correct? Is it, you have a sister?
Oh, yeah,
nun?
we've the sisters. Yep,
Yes.
sisters, yes.
So talk about that for a second. I was very impressed walking around your facility, seeing all the great signs and the verses, the Bible verses on the walls, and I love that. Talk about that.
So that's the best part.
Yes.
Is I came to healthcare about 12 years ago. I've serviced all different industries, and every company I've been in has been either sold off or acquired by somebody else.
Yep.
And those were all functions to make somebody money, make somebody rich.
Right.
I chose to come to OSF. Sister Judith Ann was our chairman of the board, but she's now stepped aside a bit. But she believes everybody has a calling to come to OSF. And the best thing is, every decision we make is based on, is it right for the patient? Is it good for our communities?
Right.
We've taken over a hospital when they closed in a rural community. The sisters knew that we needed to provide care in that area. Exactly. Otherwise, everybody would have to travel an hour.
That's right.
We agreed to come in. We evaluated the facility and what services need to be cared. And we lobbied the state of Illinois to stand up a freestanding emergency department to allow for care in the community to be able to escalate out.
Yep.
And I don't know if you know, in small towns, right? All small towns used to have factories, schools, hospitals, car dealers.
Yep.
When the factories pull out, the only employees you have left are healthcare systems and schools.
Yep.
And these communities cannot survive without their healthcare system.
Right.
So what we're doing with PointCore is in line with the Sisters' mission to provide care for, to improve the quality of life for the communities that we serve. And it's amazing.
Extremely rewarding. Thank you very much, Joe. Joe Morrow, OSF Healthcare. Thank you for joining us, my friend. Always great to see you. Thank you. Good to see you. Thank you. That's a wrap from Las Vegas and HIMSS25. Thank you all for listening. And I certainly want to offer a note of gratitude to the dedicated partners of my weekly syndicated show. And also, again, thanks to everyone who voted us 2024 Healthcare Podcast of the Year. Thank you so much, Roberta Mullen, Greg Masters, Carol Flagg, and the entire crew at the Healthcare Now Radio Network. They've also been producing my show for 11 years, and it's a true blessing to be able to do this every single year. Also, a special note of thanks to Jake Reed, my head of media. Jake did a phenomenal job managing our remote broadcast while here at HIMSS25 and recording from the conference floor and within the AMD booth, as well as the Amazon Web Services Theater. So thank you very much to Jake, and many thanks to all of my show partners, AMD and AWS, and also a shout out to Medallion here, who gave me water for my shows, certainly my lasting shows. So thank you very much to not only AMD and AWS, but certainly Medallion. And then also Bright Hour has a foundation that I want to make a special shout out to. Seppi Browning, Georgia HIMSS, she put together this new foundation to help with workforce development and education in health IT. So Seppi Browning, she's fantastic. HIMSS Georgia chapter, they're always great partners and supporters of my radio show. Great people. So look up Bright Hour Foundation and give her some love and support. And certainly a big thank you to Hal Wolf, Albie Zakes, Morgan Searles, the entire HIMSS team. They're always extremely supportive in the events and broadcasting requirements that I have. And again, thank you so much to all my listeners. We're grateful for you. You make us better with every broadcast. And that's a wrap from Las Vegas. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.